It was stressful until nearly the very end, but the better team won, and the Ottawa Senators find a way 4-1 with a pair of empty net goals. And this is a huge win for the morale and the standings. We'll get into all of it. Welcome to the postcast. I'm Ross Levitan alongside Jack Richardson, and the postcast is brought to you by the Glebe Central Pub. We're going to be boots on the bus in just over a week. Saturday against the Anaheim Ducks on March 14th, and then the very next day against San Jose. Get your tickets at GlebeCentralPub.com and come join us and get your boots on the bus. We cannot wait to be in the nation's capital. Okay, Jack, so much going on today, but let's focus in on what we saw in that 60 minutes. If anything, we can chain them together by saying they looked like a distracted team in the first period.
Yeah, a little bit going on. They might have known new guy coming in, guy going out. We don't have to touch on that just yet, but yeah, it was a bit of a, looked a little bit too close to the third period in Edmonton, maybe just a little sloppy. Looked like they thought they'd be able to roll over the Flames pretty easily. Definitely Calgary's best period, but obviously after that, settled in nicely, fought their way back in this game, and that was an effort we expected. In a couple weeks, we'll look back on this game and just say, yeah, they dominated the whole thing. That's really what happened.
They gave up the first goal in this game in that sleepy first period, but then they answered back. One of the most dominant 40 minutes that I've seen out of this team for a long time, but it still took until 6:33 into the third period to break the deadlock that they had brought to even in the second. I felt like a little bit like watching Canada play France at the Olympics, Jack. It was like the ice was so far tilted, especially in that third period, but they needed to break through. And Devin Cooley was standing on his head. He was incredible. But again, the stats told the story for Devin Cooley, a .922 save percentage coming into this game, but still a win-loss record in the negatives. He did all he could tonight to hold the fort, making highlight reel saves on Tim Stützle, most notably. That breakaway would have been one of the goals of the year if Stützle was able to pull it off. I thought Stützle was a man on a mission tonight. No spoilers. Send Central standouts later. But let me throw it to you like this, Jack, because I think the way to describe the second and third period would be urgency, but as much, it was just no time or space for this Calgary Flames team that kind of gave the reins to the younger players, especially on the back end. Zane Parekh had no ability to do anything tonight. And I felt like that was a huge key, especially on Ottawa's perfect 3-for-3 penalty kill.
Man, like you watch the way that they smothered the Flames, and it's the Flames, right? Like obviously it's not a high-end team. All that aside, the Sens have done this to a lot of teams this season, and good teams. Like it's not a uncharacteristic win for the Ottawa Senators. And I think that's why, Ross, when they go out and get a guy whose pedigree is a defensive forward, some might say, why are you addressing an area you're already strong in? I think it just makes them that much better at what they're already very good at. I don't think there's a reason why they shouldn't have done that. So it kind of just feeds into this identity. I think a game like that is perfect. They were just all over them. The Flames couldn't cross the red line, Ross. Like they couldn't get the puck out of their zone. And now again, it's a team that's basically trying to do that. They are tanking, dead last in the league almost exactly. And we're going to see another one in a couple games. But the fact that Sens were able to kind of turn it on like that is very encouraging because, like we mentioned, that first period was a little bit sloppy and they had some chances, but wasn't as good defensively. And you just know Travis Green probably had something to say in that intermission. And maybe the boys check their phones, Ross, check the scoreboard, out-of-town scoreboard, because that Boston game was just about done by then. And that was a big out-of-town scoreboard for the Sens tonight. And it matters, man. It matters.
In the final 40 minutes, the Ottawa Senators outshot the Flames 29-12. It was ridiculous the way that Ottawa was not even just getting possession and shots, but quality chances. No more quality than the game-winning goal. Dylan Cousins had all time, all day, all night, and then decided, yeah, I'm not going to go far side. I'm going to come back against the grain as a right-hand shot and just ripped it. How many of Dylan Cousins, by the way, 27 goals now and 64 points in a full 82 game sample, an equivalent of a full season for him. Incredible. But how many of those 27 goals, Jack, do you hear the post in it? I feel like he's such a sharpshooter that it's always posting in for him.
And how many, like, they were showing his highlights there, Ross, and a lot of them also were just, just shots, a highlight pack of all his goals, not even just power play goals this season. He just beats goalies clean, and not a lot of guys on the Sens are able to do that, man. Like, I think the fact that he's able to capitalize on those chances, because like that one, he was all alone in the slot, like no chance for Devin Cooley whatsoever, no shot there. And I just think that was probably the most, I don't know what the word is, but just the most excited I've seen one of the Sens after a goal in quite some time. It's because they know those goals are big, and that was huge from Dylan Cousins.
Yeah, the chat's loving this effort tonight. We appreciate you joining us after each and every game. These ones are the ones that are just so rewarding after such an amazing effort up and down the lineup. And we'd be remiss not to mention Linus Ullmark, who, despite not being busy, made some huge saves. There was that miscommunication between Zub and Sanderson in the third period. Puck pops out in the low slot, and he's big, takes a step off his post, and gets it with his left shoulder. Huge save there at an important time when it was just a 1-goal game. And I love nothing more than the fact that Tim Stützle and Shane Pinto scored the empty netters in this game. Two guys that completely deserved it. Stützle could have had 3 or 4 goals himself tonight. He ends up getting that hard-working empty netter, just pure determination from Timmy Superstar to extend his point streak to 11 games. And then Shane Pinto, instant good karma. Up 2 goals, blocks a shot, steps into the lane. The boys love that. And then for Michael Amadio, who was a menace on the forecheck tonight, just stripping pucks. He was so good, makes another one separate, and Pinto from like a 70-yard field goal, the equivalent of, just gets it right into the wicket. So just all around a huge win that you can build off of. And this was the exact reason why I didn't overreact to the bad second and third, more so the third in Edmonton and losing that game. Even though you picked up a point, you're going to have a stinker here or there. Getting a point out of it's one thing, but then bouncing back. And this was Ottawa Senators hockey tonight, exactly the way that Travis Green wants it to be played.
Ross, I had people in the chat when Pinto blocked that. They're up 2 goals. They're like, do you even want guys blocking shots at this point? And I'm like, that's just what this team does, man. They defend like dogs. Like every guy on the team, and especially that top unit, which we think might be getting some reinforcements here too with this trade. But Pinto, he needed that bad. He had a couple good looks again tonight. Couldn't find it, but all 4 centermen, Ross, got on the board for the Sens. All 4, 1 through 4, got a goal. Lars Eller coming out of nowhere with his first goal since October 30th against the Flames. He hasn't scored against anyone but the Calgary Flames this season.
Such a sick play by Ridley Gregg.
Ridley Gregg is so good, man. He's so
motor.
The best way to describe Gregg, he just makes that extra effort every time. Like, perfect example at the end of the game there, just dive in to get the puck out of the zone. He's a guy just getting better and better year by year. And man, that contract looks great.
He's a foxhole guy, right? Like, you want him in the battle when things get tight late in the game.
You want him in all situations. He makes that pass up to Eller. Like, he makes plays happen in the offensive zone. I thought he was noticeable at even strength again. Ridley Gregg's been so good. Just a lot of guys look great tonight. They really did.
Yeah, and they're going to get their love in our Sens Central standouts later on. We got a guy, boots on the ground. Yes, the boots on the ground report is next. Nick is standing by, and I'm always a fan of boots on the ground reports, but even more so on the road in other Canadian markets, because you could hear pops when Ottawa scored tonight. It was great to see, and we're we're expecting this run to continue. Linus Ullmark is 8-0-3 in his last 11 decisions with a .903 save percentage. He was awesome tonight, and it was just a big confidence-boosting win for your Ottawa Senators. More next. You're listening to the Postcast presented by Locked On Senators. The Postcast is always brought to you by the Glebe Central Pub. Check out the GCP, where the vibes are free at 779 Bank Street. And make sure when you go, you let them know that Locked On Senator sent you. Tickets are available for the Send Shuttle for all March dates, just 3 of them, and we'll be at 2 of them. You're going to go March 11th against the Montreal Canadiens. It's a Wednesday night. Oh boy, that could be an enormous game. And then even bigger, some are saying the biggest games of the year, Saturday against the Ducks at 1 o'clock and Sunday against the San Jose Sharks. Macklin Celebrini will make his annual visit to the Canadian Tire Center, and we'll be there. So come on the bus with us. We'll have a few cold ones at the GCP before and after. It's at 779 Bank Street, walking distance from Lansdowne. $18 gets you the shuttle round trip. So you leave an hour and a half before the game to get there, and then it takes you right back to the pub. We're going to basically set up a tent at the GCP. We're going to hang out all day, live music every Saturday night. So sick. So head with us to the Glebe Central Pub. We will see you there at 779 Bank Street, March 14th. We're getting there at 10 a.m., right when they open. We're going to have some breakfast specials and all sorts of great stuff for you at the Glebe Central Pub. Check them out today, the Glebe Central Pub, where the vibes are free at the GCP. Today's episode is also brought to you by Factor. Cold days, packed schedules, and big goals. That's winter for you. And then there's not a lot of options, like time to cook, eating well. It can feel like another thing on a to-do list. That's where Factor comes in. Factor makes healthy eating easy with fully prepared meals designed by dietitians and crafted by chefs so you can eat well without the planning, prepping, or cooking. Factor meals are always fresh, never frozen, and ready in about 2 minutes. And the ingredients, they're key. Lean protein, colorful veggies, whole foods, and healthy fats. No refined sugar, no artificial sweetener, no refined seed oils, and variety. Over 100 rotating meals each week. Perfect for busy weeks when you still want meals that support your goals without the stress. So head to factormeals.com/LockedOnNHL50 off and use code LockedOnNHL50 off to get 50% off and free breakfast for a year. Welcome back to the postcast. I'm Ross Levitan alongside Jack Richardson. Boots on the ground report standing by, but let's look at these stats. In tonight's game, Ottawa with a 3-1 win. The shots on goal 37-20 in favor of the Senators. Ottawa goes 1 for 4 on the power play and a perfect 3 for 3 on the kill. They win 56% of their faceoffs. The hits were tied at 18, although give Ottawa 10 extra for Nick Cousins demolishing Zach Whitecloud behind the Flames net in the third period. The blocks were 17-14 in favor of Calgary. Expected goals at 5-on-5. 69% in favor of Ottawa. Just overall great performance, Jack.
Yeah, like top to bottom, man. Like I said, I think the first period was tough and it was a little nerve-wracking, down 1-0, but I had nothing but faith. Like, obviously, they're better than that team. The desperation was there, and this stretch they put together, Ross. Like, I was just looking at their schedule the last little bit before the Olympic break. They have 3 regulation losses in however many games, 2 to Carolina, 1 to Nashville, games they could have won as well. Like, they've been hot, and they needed to get hot, and they're getting rewarded for it. And they showed it tonight. I expect more of the same Saturday, more of the same on Monday, and just keep rolling until the end of the season.
Big L by me. I have the graphic says 4-1. Let's add one. No disrespect to Shane Pinto, and just to show, just in case people need a visual here. 4-1. 4-1. 4-1. The final score. Let's go and check in with Nick, who is at the Saddledome tonight. Nick, what's up, man? Great to see you.
Hey, boys. Long-time listener. It's a huge honor to be here with you guys. Jack, Ross, big fan.
Man, huge fan of you, and it was loud at the Saddledome tonight. Do you think there was enough Sens fans there? How was it in the concourse?
Oh, man, I've been going to this game. I moved here from Southern California in 2008, and I've been going to this game ever since then. Every year. My brother is he's a long time, since 2004 Flames season ticket holder. So he saves this game, and it's kind of our special day together. And this is the first time since 2008 that we got 2 in a row. 2 years in a row the Senators won. Yeah, last year Pilsy was there, and he wasn't here, but his luck has paid off, man. That's 2 in a row.
Yeah, that's awesome. That was the Brady overtime winner where he had a bunch of stitches in his mouth. This one was a little more clinical by the Ottawa Senators. At what point in the game did you feel the ice tilt in Ottawa's favor?
The second period, they were all over them. But I had a bunch of Sens fans next to me, and we were all kind of looking at each other like, yo, we've all watched this game all season. They're like, all the Flames fans were like, Cooley's amazing tonight. And I was like, there's nobody that we cannot turn into Dominic Hasek.
So Nick, we were talking about, you mentioned the Sens fans around you. We've been talking about this Canadian tour the Sens are on, the crowd pop we're seeing in all these rinks. It looked good again tonight, man. Like, what was the vibe in the Saddledome? And compared to years past, are you starting to see a few more Sens jerseys in the crowd for these games?
Well, lots of people are moving out west from Ontario, so That's kind of the thing. But honestly, Ottawa here, like I've been in Calgary for a long time now. And everyone kind of cheers for the Sens when the Flames aren't doing well here. I got to give a shout out. The Flames fans are always very respectful, very cool. I go there quite a bit. Like I said, my brother has season tickets, and it's always a good barn. And as long as you aren't the Oilers, the Canucks, or the Leafs, they're not too upset with you.
Oh, that's awesome. So the Sens tilt the ice in the second period, dominate the third as well. Nick, who's your number one Sens Central standout in tonight's game?
Honestly, my brother never watches the Sens, so I always have to like kind of tell him who and what and everything. And tonight was the first time that I got to show him Jake Sanderson. I know he wasn't on the points board, but man, the smooth, the breakouts, there was one point where he just took the puck. There was two guys in front of him, and he just stood there. He just stood there and knew that they weren't going to make a move on him and just made a smooth breakout. And Jake Sanderson, actually, where I live here in Calgary, he grew up playing in Springbank, which is 5 minutes away from me. So he may play for the U.S., but he's Canadian bred boy. So that's my guy.
Yeah, man, he was so good again. Like some of the zone exits from Sanderson, he's a treat to watch. So I hope your brother realized how good number 85 is.
Dude, how good was that play where he tried to jump and catch it? It went over his head. It was about to be a 2-on-1 the other way, and he pivoted and caught up to him before the top of the circle. I couldn't believe the closing speed on that play. He's incredible to watch. He's one of those guys where you appreciate him even more live than you do on TV.
Oh, 100%. My bank account's hurting right now. I bought a signed reverse retro Sandy the other day for about $400. So
nice.
She's hanging on the wall somewhere in my other house right now. But yeah, he's my guy, man. But there was tons of standouts tonight. It was a good game.
So where's your confidence level now? 4 points out of a playoff spot, but surging in like a 17 game sample size.
Oh man, I could go off forever, man. These guys, a little bit of confidence, a little bit of hope, but something with this team this year. It just seems like when things are on the line, things just kind of don't go right. But it's never for lack of effort. They're always in the game, man. They're always pushing, but something always happens. It's always like the other night in Edmonton, that Pinto puck over the glass. Like that's a guy. If you were to pay money to say who would not do that for the Senators, Shane Pinto would be that guy. There's always something that goes wrong for him this year. I don't know what it is. It's super strange. Like I was telling my brother today, I was like, these guys have played the best hockey I've seen them play since like the Carlson run. And some nights you just leave the arena or not watch the game or be done watching the game and be like, what the hell was that? Like it was like watching the Canada gold medal game. It was like, I've seen that game a million times. Like as a Senators fan, like everyone else was shocked. And I was like, man, I've been watching that same game all season long. But I'm hoping they can make a run here. And
final question for me, Nick, and it's great to get the vibe out of the Saddledome tonight. Do you think Steve Staios has another move in him before the deadline tomorrow at 3:00?
Hopefully not Stephen Halliday, though. Hopefully it's somebody they really want if Steven's out of the lineup, though. You know what I mean? Like I really like that guy. I've seen him on the show a couple times and seems like a real great guy. He really reminds me of Jason Spezza, the way he plays. And I hope he's not part of it, but if he is, it must be somebody they really want. So obviously somebody who can shoot the puck. I think that's somebody we really, really need right now because the lack of finish is alarming, especially tonight. Like it should have been a 6-2, 7-2 game, like not even close.
Yeah, I mean, the Sens, though, they stick with their guns, that defensive stout ability, and just one goal against again tonight. Like, obviously, Edmonton aside, it's been such a run here where they're just so good defensively. So I'm with you. If you can find a way to add a score to it as well, all of a sudden you're like, okay, we feel even better and more confident going in to the final 21 games. Nick, appreciate you doing this. Thanks for watching the show. Really, really appreciate that. And we'll do this again down the road.
Absolutely. Oh, I got to give a shout out to the other guy who was sitting next to me. He also was wearing a signed Thomas Chabot jersey. Chris, thanks for making the game memorable for me, buddy. Peace out.
That's awesome. There he goes, Nick. Love when Sens fans get together during a game on the road.
So nice, man. So nice. I've been to games in Toronto, and it's just such a great vibe. Like when you're there, I got to get to one in Montreal, maybe a playoff game. We'll see. But love that. Love that. A great energy.
Fantastic. Okay, standouts on the other side. This is the postcast presented by Locked On Senators. The postcast is brought to you by FanDuel. It is America's #1 sports book. Head to FanDuel right now because college basketball is nonstop, from big games to tight spreads. Momentum swings every night. Early tip-offs to late-night West Coast shootouts. There's always action on the board. And now FanDuel is giving you a way to turn that energy into even bigger potential wins with a college basketball parlay profit boost. You can build any college parlay hoop bet that you want. Rival games, ranked matchups, whatever your read is tonight. Mix matchups, spreads, totals, player props to match how you see the slate playing out. And then you can apply the profit boost and instantly bump up the potential payout. Go safe, go bold, ride with the team you've been following all season. It's your parlay, your style, now with more upside behind it. Head to FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com. FanDuel, play your game. Tonight's episode is also brought to you by Indeed. Workplace chaos, deadlines stacking up, inbox overflowing, and the one position you have to fill is still sitting open. When the pressure's on and you need the right hire, this is a job for sponsored jobs. Indeed Sponsored Jobs helps you reach the people who actually fit who you're looking for, skills, experience, and location, so you're not just hoping that the right candidate stumbles across your post. And here's a stat that says it all. In the minute I've been talking to you, companies like yours have made 27 hires on Indeed. That's according to Indeed data worldwide. So if you're hiring, spend less time searching and more time interviewing candidates to check all your boxes with Indeed Sponsored Jobs. Spend less time searching and more time actually interviewing candidates who check your boxes. Less stress, less time, more results. When you need the right person to cut through the chaos, this is a job for Indeed Sponsored Jobs. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to help get your job the premium placement it deserves at Indeed.com/podcast. Just go to Indeed.com/podcast right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on Locked On Senators. Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? This is a job for Indeed Sponsored Jobs. All right, Jack, it is a 4-1 Ottawa Senators win over the Calgary Flames. Your goal scorers for Ottawa: Lars Eller, his third; Dylan Cousins on the power play, his 22nd; Tim Stützle into an empty net shorthanded for his 29th of the year, and Shane Pinto gets his 16th into an empty net. If you're following the Pinto point, well, it's been a while. His last point before tonight was, I believe, February 5th. A full month. And I know there was the Olympics, but still a spread of about 4 or 5 games. Been a little snake bit. So hopefully that goal can get him going offensively. But when Shane Pinto gets a point, the Ottawa Senators win. It is really that easy. As of tonight, Shane Pinto gets a point. The Ottawa Senators are 82, 17, and 10. I'd say he's a pretty important player, Jack.
Yeah, pretty key piece there, Ross. That middle of the ice is just one of the best in the league, top to bottom. It's nice that Lars Eller chipped in. I actually thought he had a great game too. Not to get too deep into the Sens Central standouts. We might be able to go around twice even with the two of us, but they were all great. All 4 of them were awesome.
Love this stat by Owenator 26. 4 goals each by every centerman on the Ottawa Senators.
Strength up the middle. That's what I'm talking about. Like all the centermen got on the board.
They always say defense wins championships and build down the middle. Those are 2 key phrases in hockey roster construction, and both were evident for the Senators tonight. Huge. Who's your #1 standout? And we'll leave Jake Sanderson off because Nick led us with that.
Yeah, I'm going with Dylan Cousins, man. I'm just so impressed. Like his clutch ability, his release. We talked about it at the top of the show. Ross, there are 5 players in the league with more power play goals than Dylan Cousins this season.
Wow.
You can call him a power play merchant if you're a Buffalo Sabres fan, but if you're that good at being a power play merchant, I'll take that any day of the week. I talked about it on the stream a little bit, getting moved for a guy like Josh Norris. I don't think anyone expected Cousins to replace the goal scoring that Norris provided. Norris had a lot of moments last season too, but what Cousins has been able to do on the power play alone and sustain it because he's played every single game with the Ottawa Senators so far, it's been more than you could ask for, on top of letting them slot properly, letting Timmy get regular reps, letting Pinto get regular reps in their right roles. Cousins has just been fantastic. It's been just about a year tomorrow since they traded for him. Really happy with Dylan Cousins coming through in the clutch again. And he's hot right now. I think 4 goals in his last 3 games.
Yeah, I mean, you could say that, or you could even go like a pretty extended run right now. Basically, since he had 3 points in the first period against the New York Rangers, however many weeks ago that was, he's been absolutely lights out. In his last 16 games, he's now got 10 goals and 17 points. Like, this guy is just a weapon.
Since then is when this season turned around. That's the streak the Sens are on. It's no coincidence. Dylan Cousins, I think they put up his ranks over the last 15 games on the team. He's first in goals or top 3 in a lot of offensive categories. He's a top line player. They got a top line player in that trade, and they really like the potential. I think we're finally starting to see him really come into his own, especially after the Olympic break. It looks great.
So I love that you bring up Dylan Cousins and the extended run that he's on since the Rangers game. That was actually the second game since the season turned around when they beat the Vancouver Canucks. And my player has been electric since then. He's always been a superstar, but now he is a true definition of one that the NHL's official account that consistently ignores the Senators at times, they're tweeting about him basically every night. Could have had the goal of the year tonight, ends up with an empty netter that showed so much heart, grit, determination. He was out there on the penalty kill that they had with 3.5 minutes left in the game, and he got a great clear right off the bat. He was aggressive on the PK tonight. One of his rushes that almost went in was a shorthanded break as well. Like, he was all over it tonight. He was defending with offense, if that makes sense. Like, he was just so strong on pucks. It was incredible to watch. Tim Stützle in his last 17 games now has 10 goals and 11 assists. Good for 21 points in 17 games. He's been a factor in almost every single game. Like, it's not like he's stacking up a 5-point night against the worst team in the league. It's so consistent. Every night he's getting 1 or 2 points during this stretch. It's truly remarkable, and we're lucky that Tim Stützle is an Ottawa Senator, so he'll be my Sens Central standout tonight.
That's an 100-point pace that you're talking about. Over a 17-game sample size is big enough to talk about that, in my opinion. He's been a superstar. He's been their best player. And I a bit of an up and down game for him. That first goal against Ross, he had a bad turnover in the neutral zone. Talking about on the stream, I think he got sat down by Travis Green. Didn't see a shift after that. It was late in the period, but whatever. His bounce back ability, he didn't just come out and play well. He dominated the game from there on out. Just that kind of player, man. We're so lucky to watch this guy every night, and huge piece of this roster finding his offensive stride.
Dude, he drew a penalty tonight too. That play where White Cloud went high on him after he had a good chance. That was huge. And it leads me into my honorable mention, Claude Giroux. And I saw our guy Chase in Wisconsin brought this up. Like, he took the penalty in the first period that Ottawa killed off, and then he drew 2 himself. And the second one, such a big time in the game for that to happen. And he notices the sticks in his legs, and he doesn't dive. He just keeps his feet moving, and naturally he's going to fall. And to draw the penalty like that was just incredible. So Claude Giroux, I want to give a little extra shout out to tonight.
Yeah, I mean, Claude Giroux now the veteran up front, man. Like, Nick Cousins a bit older, Eller as well, but trading out a guy like Perron, I think Giroux and him had a similar vibe to them at times. So a lot on his shoulders again with this group, and especially in that top 9. Not really that much of a veteran presence, and he was savvy tonight, winning key draws again. Like, he was great.
Yeah, you want to go with an honorable mention here too?
Yeah, I think I'll just go with Ridley Gregg. We talked about him a lot. He's just such a dog, man. I love the way he plays, and this is what we saw when they drafted him, when he was playing in the WHL and playing in Belleville a little bit too. Like, he's got this tenacity and this offensive prowess, and he's finally learning how to do it on the wing. And this stretch, again, we mentioned Cousins getting hot, directly correlates with getting put on Ridley Gregg's line. That line with him and Tkachuk has been great. And they just, when you look at, they need a top 6 forward or whatever, the way Ridley Gregg's playing, hard not to see that he's that guy right now.
Yep. And then just to top it off, goalie friendly show. I know we mentioned him off the top, but Linus Ullmark deserves some love too tonight, because this game was close because of how good the other goalie was. And sure, you could say the Cooley was better than Ullmark for sure. He made more high danger saves. He had more high danger shots against, but Linus Ullmark had some big save that kept them in it when it was a tie and a 1-goal game. So shout out to Linus Ullmark tonight. Just an all-around fantastic final 40 minutes from the crew, and they win 4-1 going into tomorrow's trade deadline. You might wonder, why haven't we talked about David Perron being traded? Why haven't we gotten into the deadline? That's because there's plenty of content coming here on Locked On Senators. Pillsy and I are going to record tomorrow's episode in about 40 minutes from now. It'll drop at 6 a.m. sharp. You can throw that on early in the day. And then if and when trades are made, we will go live and have immediate reaction and discuss what all this means, not only immediately for the Senators, but in the years to come as they go out and get Fogel's got a year left. Who else could go on the move? We'll find out sooner rather than later. The deadline is way less than 24 hours away, 3 p.m. tomorrow if you're listening to this live on Thursday night, but we're closing in on, well, we're past midnight Eastern time right now. So it's
deadline day.
It's deadline day. D-Day is here, and the Ottawa Senators are 4 points out of a playoff spot, and they're closer to the Habs than they've been in a long time. They've got a game coming up against them. Detroit's on the schedule in a little while, and the out-of-town scoreboard was fantastic tonight. We'll get into all that on tomorrow morning's Locked On Senators. Jack, final thoughts on tonight's game?
Yeah, really good night in the standings. Just great to look at heading into deadline day. You know, those graphics are going to be everywhere tomorrow on Trade Center, on Sportsnet, all of it. It's a good visual. The Sens are right there, and they've clawed their way back, man. And they have, I believe, I got to check again, they have 2 more points this year after 61 games than they had last season. And I think that makes it feel a lot more realistic for them to go out and maybe take a swing at a guy and get in those conversations for some of those big guys. I know you guys will cover it tomorrow. I'll be all over Twitter. It's going to be a fun deadline day. Deservedly so for the Ottawa Senators. Proud of this group, man. Excited for what's to come. It's been a fun first 61 games.
It's not only been a fun 61 games, but it's been an amazing 17 games for Ottawa right now, where they are really finding their game and they're making it their mission to get themselves into a place where you can see them making a run. Like, could you imagine if the Sens lost tonight and if the Bruins won? Those graphics tomorrow would be like, what's Ottawa doing? But just one night can change it all. Just like one phone call this time of year can change it all for players with trades and everything else going on. So love to see it. Let's get some Go Sens, go some GSGs in the chat. Shout out to everybody who is in the postcast. Please like the video, click the thumbs up. Really does help the show. If you're listening to this, thank you. We are expecting a lot more fun in the hours to come with the deadline and in the days and weeks to come as the Senators go full throttle trying to make a push for another playoff spot. For Jack Richardson, I'm Ross Levitan. Thank you for liking, watching, listening, and engaging with the postcast. Senators win 4-1 over the Calgary Flames. We will chat tomorrow on the Locked On Senators podcast. It's your team every day.